The Hilltop Glove Podcast is sponsored by Mid-Carolina Service Company.
Mid-Carolina Service Company is the first name to search for your residential or commercial HVAC needs in Lexington and surrounding areas.
Just go holler at Jason and Clint. They'll hook you up on the air conditioners, on the restaurant equipment, refrigerators, refrigeration, ice machine repair. They've been doing this for years. I know them cats forever.
Family owned and operated since 2006, they pride themselves in their quality work and customer relationships. Call 803-356-4153 or visit midcarolinaserviceco.com for a no obligation quote for service today. This episode of Hilltop Glove Podcast is proudly sponsored by Your Dollar Store. Located at 3017 Farrell Road in Columbia, South Carolina. Owned by Brian Thomas, Your Dollar Store has been serving the community since June 2021 with a mission to provide fresh produce and essential household items to neighborhoods in need, serving areas like Booker, Washington Heights, and other nearby locations affected by grocery store closures. Your Dollar Store is a convenient one-stop shop for those seeking healthier food options and affordable essentials. Support a local business that's dedicated to giving back. Your Dollar Store, where you can shop, chat, and leave with a smile.
The Hilltop Glove Podcast is sponsored by True Brilliance Entertainment.
True Brilliance is a production, promotions, and management company dedicated to connecting artists and producers across the Carolinas to music industry professionals.
Several of their clients have placements both domestic and internationally as a result of their services.
Are you an artist or producer looking to build meaningful relationships within the music industry? Then True Brilliance is for you. Check them out at paramilitary.com. That's spelled P-A-I-R-A military.com.
Welcome to the Hilltop Glove Podcast.
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 The Hilltop Glove Podcast.
Welcome back to the Hilltop Glove Podcast. Today we have the pleasure of speaking with Robin Bryant. Robin is the founder of HH Mortgage LLC and HH Real Estate and Mortgage LLC, both based in Charleston, South Carolina. She is a 17-year veteran in the real estate industry with 11 years of mortgage experience. I like that veteran status, and I was saying that's pretty dope. Growing up in Charleston, Robin graduated from Webster University with a bachelor's degree in business administration and a master's degree in human resource management. Robin's passion for home ownership and affordable housing propelled her career in the real estate and mortgage industry. With a solid background in real estate sales, she possesses a profound understanding of the home buying process, providing invaluable insights to her clients. As an independent mortgage broker, Robin boasts a strong network of lenders, enabling her to secure the best deals for consumers. Robin is dedicated to helping homeowners achieve their financial goals while ensuring that the mortgage process remains as smooth and stress-free as possible. She strives to deliver exceptional customer service, consistently exceeding her clients' expectations. As the owner of HH Real Estate and Mortgage, Robin serves as a vital resource for minorities and underserved communities within South Carolina's real estate and mortgage industry. Stay tuned as we dive into the ins and outs of buying a house with valuable insights from Robin Bryant. How are you doing today?
I am wonderful. How are you?
Man, I'm awesome, man. I'm pumped. I'm ready to go. Excited. Yes, hey, that's you. You did all that. You did all that. I like the fact that it does say that you're a veteran in the real estate industry because, I mean, whatever you do, especially if you're working in industries, I think it's good to let people know that you have experience. Yeah, and that's one of the things that it helps you to gain understanding and foothold in what's going on. Mm-hmm. Plus, I like to deal with people that know what they're doing.
Exactly.
Well, especially mortgages and real estate is a constantly changing thing. So you've had enough time now to see some ups and some downs, some different markets.
Yep.
It's good to know.
Different client situations. I've seen it all. So it benefits me because now I can better serve the community because I've worked with people with challenging situations. So once we figure out how to do that, the next person that approaches me with that, oh, I know exactly how to fix that. That's easy.
See, that's why you want a veteran. Yeah. That's awesome. So we always like to start off with the boring question. How did you get here? Like, where are you from? Where did you grow up? Tell us about your family.
I am from West Ashley, side of Charleston. Yes, grew up off Magnolia Road, subdivision called Magnolia, right across from East and West Oak Forest.
Okay.
So, the school bus I rode, we called it the OOF. I went to St. Andrews High School. And that was the name of our neighborhood, the OOF.
The OOF.
So, yeah.
Okay. Any siblings?
I do. I have 2 older brothers, Carlos and my older brother, Gregory. He passed away when I was in high school.
Understood.
But he left me a wonderful nephew. Hey. And he also lives in Charleston. He's an attorney here.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
All right. And then your parents, what was the life with your parents? What did your mother?
So my father passed away when I was 1 year old. He was a firefighter for the city of Charleston.
Okay.
And my mom actually was a school teacher. Prior to being a school teacher, she retired from the disability board, which back in the day was called Hope Center. But now... But yeah, what? Now, yeah. She worked there for like 20-something years.
Good gracious. Okay.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, what did you do growing up or in school that led you down to where you are now?
So growing up, the one thing I remember is we lived in a middle-class community, but we were house poor. I'm talking about we never went out to eat. No movies, no shopping trips. It was just like survival in the middle class neighborhood, you know?
It's like we're going to make it. We're going to make it.
Yeah. So I remember going through the drive-through window at the bank with my mom on a Friday afternoon. She was depositing her paycheck. So her paycheck was like $400 and something. Now, mind you, this is the 90s, but it's $400 and something for 2 weeks. That's her net take home. The mortgage payment is $726, and she's bringing in roughly $900 a month.
Yeah.
So you do the math. It's like no wonder we were poor.
Yeah.
But she did receive survival benefits for my brother and myself because my father passed away. So that money helped, buy food, pay the light bill, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, she had a predatory loan. The home she bought in 1981 was $30,000. The math, like Taraji Henderson say, the math ain't mathing.
Oh, no.
You can't pay $700 and something a month for a house that's $30,000.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It doesn't add up.
Yeah.
But back in those days, the mortgage industry was not regulated. Neither was the insurance. So,
no protections.
They could charge you
no
whatever.
You mean if you don't regulate people, they take advantage of things and try to take all the money?
That's how the rich get richer.
Really? I never knew that. Just for y'all out there in TV land, I did not know that. I thought they just would do the right thing.
I figured maybe if you put people who make mortgages and charge them mortgages, they would just arbitrarily do it the correct, nice way.
Yeah.
So predatory loans.
Yeah. So I lived the life of a victim of predatory loans. Okay.
Wow. Now this makes sense.
Yeah.
This is making sense.
So little did I know I was becoming an advocate for affordable housing at the young age of 15, 16 years old. So, what upbringing.
Yeah. I mean, like, in like at that age, like, were there certain things that you would have wanted or that you would have wanted to request, but you knew just based on what was going on monetarily that you weren't able to do it and you just had to be on the outside?
Yeah. A lot of things.
What are some of those things?
I wanted to play sports.
Yeah.
I wanted to be in band. There's no money to pay the band fees, no money for, field trips. And, at first, I used to be angry with my mother because I thought she was just being mean. But after seeing her paycheck, I'm like, well, darn, we poor. So there was no need. I never asked her for anything again after that because I knew we really don't have it.
Yeah. You understood.
Now I know why we don't have cable. Like, that's an extra,
Yeah.
So,
Was it worth it to live in that neighborhood, though, in your mind?
The neighborhood is nice. Yeah. And today, the homes are selling for over $700,000.
Shut the front door.
My mom is living good because she doesn't have a mortgage payment and she gets that good South Carolina retirement.
Yeah.
So she's living good now. It was a struggle in the beginning, but things are good.
And that's one thing about real estate is it's like, I don't know, it's
a long
real.
Game. Yeah, it's real.
There,
it's always there. It's
real
physical.
money.
Yeah.
Right. And what's the old saying? They ain't making any more land?
Nope.
That's right. Yeah.
Unless you live in Saudi Arabia or Qatar.
Man, I don't want that land. It's going to wash away out of
They put it in. That thing it comes up. It looks like flowers. I know, right? I mean, they building land over there. But I think it's important for people to know, especially our audience, because one thing we're trying to gear this towards millennials and other young folks coming up, so that they can see how people get to where they get to and why they're in those industries. And then just to touch on this even more, I know the pathway that you took. So, for instance, where did you go to high school? Where did you go to university if you did?
Yes, I went to St. Andrews High School. Then I went to USC in Carolina. I actually finished my bachelor's at Webster University here in Charleston. And then I got a master's degree from Webster University as well.
Awesome. And you knew at that time when you left high school and you were starting to go for higher education, you wanted to go into what specific, like what was your degree in? Just so our audience knows.
Yeah, my degree was in business administration. But at the time I finished my bachelor's, I had already had my real estate license.
Oh, okay.
And of course you have naysayers that say, real estate is just a hobby. That's not a real career. It's not a career for them. But it's, it's my calling. It's my ministry. It's just what I do. And that's how I approach every person I work with. They're not a transaction. They're a person. I get to know them, know their family, and, work out a plan for them to be successful and to make real estate work for them.
Awesome. So
what sets you apart?
Yeah. This is what we want to know.
Apart?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the main thing that sets me apart is it's my calling. So you have some realtors, they're like, oh, I got to get this check.
Right. It's a side gig.
Yeah. And it's not that for me. As a matter of fact, clients that I've worked with 15, 16 years ago, we're still cool to this day.
Wow.
They'll text me. Yeah, they'll text me even if there's a situation going on with a family member and they feel a family member is being ripped off. Hey, can you look at this? Can you talk to them? And sometimes I can't be the person's agent because they're in a deal with someone else.
Signed,
but I can give them honest advice and let them know what the South Carolina law is. So I think what sets me apart is, I'm honest. I'm always going to do the right thing because, like I said, I've been in a situation where we've been taken advantage of, and I would hate to see someone else go through that.
So you do real estate work, but you also advocate for people. I think that's a unique thing. I don't know too many real estate agents that would advocate.
Yeah.
Because you think about it, you're like trying to help your industry. So like, hey, if you're getting these people undercut, then I'll be able to do the same thing and make more money. Do you think that ever hurts you economically being an advocate?
It doesn't. So in addition to real estate and mortgage sales, I am an investor. So I rehab homes, I build homes. Wow. So I earn money through other avenues in the real estate in the real estate arena. So I don't have to rely on a paycheck from a consumer. There's times on a mortgage deal where I have to get like little or no commission. I'm literally cutting my commission down 70% because they don't have enough closing costs or we need to get the rate lower to make it affordable for the client. So I'm grateful that I'm able to earn money in other areas so that I don't have to be one of these people that
say mean
you
words.
Need that paycheck, your lights are going to get cut off. Right, yeah.
Keeps you from having to push that hard sell.
Yeah.
Well, so now you started talking about mortgage rates and closing costs and all of that. And for our listeners that have never bought a house before, I bought my house in 2010 with Obama's tax credit. Obama helped me buy my house.
Oh, that $8,000 tax credit.
That was a blessing. It was a blessing. I have never regretted that ever. Owning a house is a lot of work. There's nobody to call when things go wrong. You got to figure it out yourself or pay somebody else to figure it out. But it is so much better than paying rent.
It is.
And then after you've been doing it for 10 plus years, you can kind of look back and be like, oh, there's a little bit of money sitting there.
Yeah, you done made an investment.
Yeah. But for those people who haven't bought a house, you're about to buy a house.
Yeah, I'm about to buy a house. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the process. Because I think that there's a lot of mystery behind it. I had my dad to talk to when I was buying the house. So he was able to walk me through a lot of this. But a lot of people, if it's their first house or maybe their parents haven't owned a house, they don't know all this stuff.
Yeah. So that's what I love. Anytime a client calls me, I can set up an appointment. Instead of meeting at the office, I choose to meet at a nice place, Panera Bread or something like that. Just make it more comfortable. Yeah. And they have the opportunity to ask whatever questions, whatever rumors they've heard. But I can break down the process. So for most people don't have $300,000 to $500,000 sitting in the bank to buy in cash. Yes. So now the first step that you want to do is you want to get pre-approved with a lender. Someone like me.
I like you. Go ahead.
Now, were you always doing that, or did you just see like a need for that?
So I've always wanted to get into doing loans. It's just, I got my real estate license in 2007, and I could never figure out how to get a license to do loans. Well, there was no lender license back then. Yeah, there wasn't.
What?
Yeah,
everybody out here loan sharking.
Yeah, you're right. There was no protections, no
anybody
regulation.
off the street. This guy told me he was delivering pizza for Domino's, and he went to a mortgage company one day to deliver pizza, and they were like, "You want a job?"
Yo.
So you have someone with no training.
Yeah.
Giving people loans. I mean, and they were putting whatever on the paperwork that would make it go through.
You know what was happening at that time, though.
Yeah, that's why we had the crash.
Yes.
Yeah. So
loans.
It was totally not regulated. That's why I couldn't figure out how to be a lender.
Because it was another thing. It was not. You could just walk in and be like, I'm lending.
You got a handsome money.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh gosh. But yeah, I got my mortgage broker license in 2013.
Okay.
So and that helped a whole lot with my real estate clients, because we had clients that we would find out on the day of closing, oh, you're not closing. The lender would just say, oh, we can't get it done. It's like, what? What do you mean you can't get it done? These people are packed up. They've already told their families. They've turned in their 30-day notice to move out their apartment. Like, what? And that happened like more than 3 times in a year.
So what would
I was
happen
like,
to those families? Like, what happens to them?
They have to find a place to stay.
Ouch.
Yeah, you've probably already given notice at wherever you're at.
And some couldn't go back.
I mean, closing is like you're ready to go. Like, you put the keys in your pocket and go move in.
Ouch.
Yeah.
You scared me right now. You scared me.
Yeah, so it angered me, and I just felt powerless, because I'm like, what are these people going to do? And it's not like I wasn't using the same lender every time.
Right.
Okay. So it was just a normal thing that was happening.
Yeah.
So when I got into doing loans, it's like, okay, how can we prevent this? When you submit the person's loan application, that underwriter is going to provide you with a conditional approval within 2 to 3 business days.
Okay.
That conditional approval states everything that needs to be done for the loan to be funded. So there is no way on closing day that you don't know that file.
If you check them conditions, that's
it's kind of like the Domino's delivery driver. They're not looking at the conditions. They're just like, hey, I don't understand the conditions. We just can't close.
Yep, you ain't getting your pizza today.
Yeah.
I done paid my money. Don't worry. Hey, I ain't make the rules up.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so with the conditional approval, that is a guarantee that your loan is going to close if you meet the conditions.
Okay.
So most of the time, when I initially meet the client, we pull credit, we look at income. If there are any red flags or anything that looks sketchy, we're going to resolve it before we even get to underwriting.
All right.
And that's what makes the process smooth and easy.
Oh.
And then, when we get to the finish line, they're like, I should have been bought a house. Like, this was so easy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
see, I think
that's my goal, to make it easy for people.
So getting them from point A to point B in the middle, I just have to ask this. How do you so say somebody comes to you and you do see red flags. Like, what are some typical red flags that you see?
Red flags are late payments, which that is not automatically a denial.
Okay.
But if you have more than 3 late car payments or some type of installment loan, like your student loan payments, if you have more than 3 lates in a 24-month period, it's probably not going to be approved.
Okay.
So I usually tell the client, hey, let's focus on getting 12 months of on-time payments.
Auto pay.
Yeah,
Damn.
That's the easiest thing to do.
Set that auto pay and then make sure you got a savings account so it don't auto draft.
Yeah.
Have your backup.
That's the easiest thing to do. Another thing I notice is some people unfortunately file fraudulent tax returns.
Ooh.
They will have a W-2 job and they will they'll create a fake business and write off expenses for that business just so they don't have to pay taxes. That's a no-no, because a client I'm recently working with.
Look at that camera. Let them know. Look at that camera.
That's a no-no. Don't do it. So I have a gentleman that I'm working with. He made like $70,000 as a truck driver.
Okay.
He wrote off $48,000 for a business loss. So now his income is 20-something thousand. In our market, we can't approve you to purchase a home at 20-something thousand a year.
Shot himself in the foot.
It's just, it's not going to work, because that means you're making $2,000 a month. Right now, to get into a home at $300,000, you're going to pay at least $2,000 to $2,200.
That's something to think about, though, because as having a small business, you want to write off everything that you can.
Yeah. So people that do, people that do own a business, I definitely want to meet with them before they file their taxes.
Gotcha.
So we can talk about what's worth writing off. There are things like, gas and mileage, things like that. You get credit back for that on your loan.
It's different.
But just don't go crazy writing off every meal and, things like that.
Drinks at the bar.
Yeah. Like
decals.
I'm meeting your client down at Wet Willie's. Oh, it's not Wet Willie's anymore. But, you're meeting your client, you're running a tab. Don't write that off.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And that makes so much sense. So could you explain this? 'Cause I know, especially for me, because this is my first time, but what are some of the benefits of the first time home buyer programs? If you can just discuss a few of those or even one or two, and just how it is helpful for first time home buyers.
Okay. So, the first time home buyer program, people are shocked when I tell them this, but that is a play on words. It's a marketing concept.
Explain. Please do tell.
So, for instance, an FHA loan, people market that as a first-time home buyer loan, but anyone can get an FHA loan as long as they don't already have one.
What if you pay it off?
Yeah.
You can get it again.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's 3.5%. You do have to live in that house as your primary home for at least 6 months.
Okay.
Right.
And then you go do what you want to do.
Now, I got a house that I bought before I met my wife.
Okay.
Is she still... You can hear that on these?
Because these aren't the other mics. This is what he was talking about, getting those dynamics. Now, there are some dynamics here, Kev. Dynamic mics, if we need them next time. He's probably is on the other side. Where's he at? He's on that corner, probably.
I think he's next door. Oh.
Let's see. Hey, can I hear? I'm so important.
How bad is it?
We should be good.
Because it should be able to cut it in post production. You can be able, because it should be low enough on the register that you can cut it out. Because if it's full range, if it's full dynamic range, it's going to be able to cut it out. I'm not worried about that. All right, we just had to make sure. We apologize. All right, you ready?
All right, we rock and rolling?
Yep, 3, 2, and roll.
Now, so I had a first-time homebuyer credit when I bought my house, but that was before I met my wife.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've been talking about looking in the next few years. If she bought the house, she could do a first-time home buyer on that one?
She can definitely do an FHA loan, a conventional loan. Right now, the convention loan products we have, we have like a rate buy down option where instead of you having to put down 3%, you only have to put down 1%.
Oh,
now there are income restrictions.
What are some of the restrictions? Go ahead and tell me right now.
Realistically, you can't earn more than $80,000 and live in the Charleston area and be able to take advantage of that program.
Understood.
So it has to be low to moderate income.
I'm not angry at that. That's a good thing.
Yeah, but the down part is you really need to make $80,000 to be able to afford a home.
So is it combined income? Like say there were two incomes.
It's household income.
Okay, so I wouldn't get it. I'm not angry at it though. I understand. All right. I should ask.
You still have FHA. Mm-hmm. There's also the NACA program. That's 100% financing.
Okay.
For all the veterans out there, veteran VA loan, that's 100% financing. You can live anywhere. There's no income cap. Mm-hmm. There's the USDA guaranteed program as well as the USDA direct program. Mm-hmm. Both are 100% financing. You have to live in a rural area. There is an income cap for USDA guarantee. It's about $120,000.
Okay.
For the family.
Okay.
100%.
Do I have to buy like land out in the middle of nowhere? Do I got to buy farmland for that one?
Yes,
it's fine. I might want that.
You may want it. I want
farmland. It's no longer farmland. Hey, just think about Nexton, Cane Bay, Monk's Corner.
Development.
Those are USDA areas. So
shut up.
Yeah.
Nexton is a USDA area?
Yes, sir. Yeah, you can
so it's like it used to be a farm and then they're converting it.
Okay. Yeah, because they want to grow the area.
Because I know in Columbia, one of the things that has popped out this year is that they have some of those programs for underdeveloped areas. Mm-hmm. We're looking. This is like the Richland Northeast.
Yeah, not
Richland
Road.
Northeast. My fault. The LR Lower Richland area.
Lower Richland, yeah.
And then going out towards Newberry, like going out.
Really?
Yeah, and I was just like, don't they realize these places are being developed? No, they're still considering them right now.
Okay.
Rural areas.
Well, that's why they're developing, is because they're doing this stuff.
So I'm like, take advantage, right? That's what I was looking at too. I'm like, hey, this might be something that we want to do, but that makes sense.
Yeah,
that
you
makes
can't
sense
beat the 100% financing.
You can't.
And then you still can add closing costs into that loan.
So, let's talk about that. When you're talking about 100% financing, the total value of the house. So, no down payment.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Which is big because I'm assuming you got some kind of down payment if you're trying to make the move. And so then that could go towards closing costs, was paying the lawyers basically, right? Well,
Yeah. So the closing costs, that's going to cover, like you said, the attorney fees.
Go ahead.
It's going to start up your escrow account, which is a savings account for your property taxes and your insurance. Mm-hmm. It's also going to cover any type of prepaid, so your deed stamps, recording fees, the origination fee, the actual cost of doing the loan.
Mm-hmm. Why does it cost to do a loan? You ready? You know why I'm asking these? Because you ready? Can I say it? I can curse on here.
Because you're a what?
I'm a bad guy on this one. I just dislike I dislike financial products. The idea of what's called a financial product. It's not an actual product.
Ooh,
but I know, right? But like you said, you're paying a cost to create a cost. It's crazy, isn't it? Just tell me if I'm wild. I just think
it's a lot of paperwork to do a loan.
That's what I was wondering. Get their money somehow. Yeah. And I don't know. This is, and the reason why I'm saying that, especially as a about to be first time home buyers, these are some of the things that no one's told. They don't get explained what it is or why it existed. And when you get explained to it, you're like, that don't make too much sense.
Yeah, the banks are going to make their money now.
That's it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's about the bank.
You got home inspections too. You got to do those.
That's real. You ready?
Yeah.
I'm down for home inspection. That's a real cost.
Home inspection,
please
appraisal, termite inspection.
Those are real.
Even if you're
those.
selling, I found that out too. If I'm selling and I don't get a home inspection, the buyer doesn't get a home inspection, they might come back on me on it.
Bro,
if there's something you don't disclose.
Yeah,
you have to disclose any type of leaks, any floods that happen with the home. You have to
HVAC issues, problems with under. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes lots of sense. All right, so back to these costs. All right, so you got these fees. They're making. You got to pay these fees. You got these fees. Yeah.
Right.
But that stuff, it can be. Those things are not included in those 100% finances. Right?
They are not included, but USDA will allow you to add the closing costs into the loan. So let's say you have a seller that's not willing to negotiate seller paid closing costs.
Okay.
Well, if you don't have the closing costs saved, USDA will roll the closing costs into your loan. So on average, closing costs is about $6,000-7,000. Unless you're buying down your interest rate, it can be a little more.
Okay. Tell me about buying down your interest rate. So when I bought, rates were low, so I had to do that.
Like 2%. Those days.
Yeah.
So with every lender, the rate cost is different.
Okay.
So I know places like NACA and other places, they have a standard formula for buying the rate down, but it's different with each lender. So every day the rates come out, and right now most of my lenders start at like 5.375, and the average cost to buy a rate to that is about $15,000.
Okay.
And then the rates go up to about 7.5.
So you would just lock it in at a rate that's lower than what it is now, and then you'd pay that one for the rest of the life of the loan.
Yeah, so the client actually chooses what rate they want.
Got it.
But you got to pay up front for that.
Yeah, that's something that's paid at closing. So if you choose the 5.3 or the 5.7, it's going to allow you to purchase more of a home, and it allows you to have a lower payment. But your closing cost is going to be more money.
And you would need that to have that saved up, ready to roll.
Yeah, or get the sellers to pay it if they're nice.
So there is negotiation that goes back and forth there, and you can, if they're motivated.
And right now, the way the climate of the market, the sellers know that they have to contribute closing costs because the interest rates are high.
Oh.
So in order to get the rates down to, like I say, affordable, high 5s, low 6s, clients do have to buy the rates down.
And they're
so
willing
most
to
sellers are willing to cover closing costs to help with the rates.
And what does that look like when they help to cover closing costs? Are they covering the entire closing costs, or a closing percentage of it?
Sometimes it depends on what you negotiate. Okay. So, right now, any client that I have, I'm trying to get them at least $10,000 in closing costs.
Oh, wow.
So one of my agents, she was able to write a contract the other day where the seller contributed $15,000 in closing costs. So, yeah.
So that's why you were saying that number is 6 to 7. You can get it down. So you have that. Oh, you got to have a good person in your.
This is where it pays to have somebody
like you. Yeah. You don't want to do that by yourself.
Yeah. You definitely want to use a realtor or a lender that knows the market. Because you have some people that are licensed and just, they don't know, unfortunately. It's just.
Right. Because there's more to it than just showing a house.
Yeah.
This is the money side.
That's what they show on TV. If you watch HGTV, they only show that part. Yeah. They never show people sitting down with paper in the back room or talking on phones trying to figure that stuff out. I wish they had a show that was just that. Wow. You could be on it and you'd be a great star.
Y'all produce it for me.
Hey! You're like, what y'all do? We're following her around. HHH is what we're doing.
You know those ratings on math shows.
Yo! Be quiet. Man. But, so talking about the market and, people always hear this certain, like, specific jargon, the buyer's market and the seller's market, right?
Yes.
Can you explain, like, what does that mean and where are we at right now?
Okay. So it's standard supply and demand.
Yeah.
I'm
theory. Yeah. Piggybacked econ from back in the days. But a seller's market is pretty much when there is low inventory and a lot of buyers.
Oh.
So that means buyers will pay more than fair market price for the home.
Okay.
Because there's not enough home and everyone wants it.
Boom.
Yeah. So remember when the rates were 2 to 3%? I mean, my God, we had clients, we were putting in 10 offers on like every client. Just praying, offering more than what the house was worth. Like,
ouch.
Oh, we worked.
I earned my money.
And then, of course, the buyer's market is when there's a whole lot of inventory and not that many buyers. So when there's a lot of inventory like that, then you do have the opportunity to negotiate more with the sellers because everyone wants to sell their home.
Yeah.
So sellers know this, so they're more willing to negotiate pricing and closing costs.
Okay. So where are we at right now, in your opinion? Or what does the market say?
Right now, I believe we are in a buyer's market. It's kind of balancing out to where it's going to be fair for everyone. But right now, you can, as a buyer, take advantage of getting that closing cost and negotiating on the price of the house.
Wow. And that's interesting to hear because I guess it doesn't feel that way, but it has been changing. I know I've been paying attention to it. And I think one of the things that has caused me to feel or think that way are the fact it doesn't seem like there's enough housing available. Now, is that just, do you think that's based in reality or is that just bad information being given out by news outlets?
In our area, I think we have enough housing.
All right, you all don't. Go ahead.
The prices are high. That's the killer part because to get into, Nexton and some of the new neighborhoods, you really need to be at like 400,000. So that's going to be a house payment of about $3,000 a month.
Keep whistling. I'm telling you, woo, Lord.
It's more money than we make here.
Jesus. Jesus. So question, the people, and I want to talk about this too, because I know we're going to talk about a little bit of like issues with discrimination, et cetera, in the market. Do you think like these houses that are being built, are they being built for people that live here? Or are they being built for transplants? Be honest. Because where are they paying people that make money here?
Going on right
now. Where are they paying people that in South Carolina? I don't know if you've seen the wages yet, but
I've
what kind of jobs? They dope dealers or what?
Great.
What are they doing?
So what I've noticed is a lot of people from the north.
Tell it. Shame them. Tell it. Just tell it.
Buying up all the way.
Tell it.
Yeah. So when they sell their home, they're making, they're walking away with 500 plus. Now they got cash and they can come and just spend that money on a new house. So the locals, we can't afford to, well, some of us, we can't afford to just go out and buy a $500,000-$600,000 house.
I got to get a job in New York and work from home in order to afford a house here so I can compete against somebody from New York that moved down here.
That's what people are doing,
imperialism inside. It's colonialism inside the country.
Yeah, that's one of my cousins that said. He works for a company in Chicago and he lives here. So he only travels to the office like 3 to 4 days out the year.
That's the setup.
That's what I'm going to have to do. I've been thinking about that. No, I've been thinking about that hard as a possibility because I was just like, well, one good thing is first of all, getting a house, I want to up my income, but already worked on the credit part, did that other stuff. I was just like, the income part is a challenge because even living here in South Carolina, having a degree, being able to work and getting experience, one thing I realized is that you have a threshold on pay because like they'll tell you, well, our pay to you all is based on South Carolina's market values. And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, well, this is how much it costs to live here. I'm like, no, that's a lie. Because these people are coming from here and they crazy driving up home prices. You got to be able to compete with people from California, New York, Texas, state of Washington, Illinois. And I'm like, well, why don't they stay over there where they got what they got? Why aren't they staying over there? And it's sad to have to sound like that. But I say that because I see the ill effects that it has on people who live here and want to live here. Because if I actually have to move out there in order to find a place, get money, and then rent an apartment out there, wherever that's expensive, and come back here. Just living. No one wants to do that. There is the USDA Direct program. I love that program. Okay. So it's 100% financing, and it's a loan directly with rural development of the government. So there's no lender. Oh. Now, the benefit is their interest rate is 4.5%. Because remember, there's no lender tacking on that additional fee. See? In addition to that, they make sure that your house payment is less than 29% of your monthly income. So they will add an additional subsidy to your payment. So I have clients now that are purchasing brand new homes for $400,000 and they're paying $1,200. The down part.
You working magic, girl.
No, because that waiting list is like a year.
Oh, I get you.
So it's a great program, but that waiting list is serious.
Gotcha. And that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's such a good deal. Why wouldn't everybody get in line? Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah. And then sometimes if your income is too high, so if you're making the $80,000 and you're a family of like 4 or less, they may say, "Oh, you're not low enough," So, it's that aspect.
More tax write-offs next year.
Yeah. In that case, you would tell that person,
or go have another kid,
have another child, get right at the level.
That'll save your economics real quick. Have another kid.
So, but before we wrap up, I do want to ask about this. Just some misconceptions about buying or selling that you would like to clarify. And then, have you ever experienced any sort of racial discrimination within the work you do?
Oh, wow. Yes. Yes. Racism exists everywhere in South Carolina.
I thought it was gone. I thought we got rid of that.
Yeah, it does. And it's sad.
Yeah.
I meet with clients all the time. Just last week, I had a client. He had a 680 credit score, truck driver for 28 years. The bank denied him. He didn't have enough credit.
Yeah.
What do you mean not enough? You got a 680. I'm doing people loans who have a 580.
Whoa.
Who've been on a job for 2 years. This man has been working 28 years. But I'm doing their loan now. I'm excited. They're getting a house. But yeah, so that's the type of things that exist.
How about with you? Yeah.
Something like that, like I don't know, just having a card to put gas on or something, would that make a difference in a situation like that?
That would help, but he already has credit because his score is 680.
Oh, okay.
So he's had car loans in the past that he's paid off.
His history.
He has student loans, so that's history. Yeah. It's just a fancy way of denying someone.
Redlining. Red taping. Red taping.
Mm-hmm.
So question, you being a woman and also being obviously a Black woman, have you witnessed any barriers to you doing your job?
Oh gosh, yes, all the time.
Oh gosh.
So when I initially got my mortgage license, the thing is, when you get these licenses, you're supposed to hang it under another company.
Okay.
Well, I could not find a company that wanted to hire me. Like, they would hire that domino driver, but they would not hire this pretty face.
Nasty work.
So, and I knew that it was because I'm Black, because I'm going to these companies.
Okay.
Everyone is white. And I'm like, okay, I have the real estate experience. I got these degrees. I have a clean criminal record. So why won't you hire me?
I got a clean criminal
and good
record.
credit. Yeah. So why won't you hire me?
Yeah.
So that just forced me to create my own company.
That's why I asked that. I wanted to know why you created that.
Yeah,
That's why.
Yeah, and I didn't mind working under another company. It's just they wouldn't hire me, and I just had to create HH Mortgage.
There we go. And what's the HH stand for?
Higher Heights.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
We're moving to higher heights.
There we go. I like that. And I just want people to hear that because I know, especially one cool thing that is, I always like to call it a very Southern thing is, especially, doesn't matter where you are, but just like we like to create things and work it ourselves. Like, yeah, we got these other businesses and I might want to go join an already established firm or et cetera. But in the South, we will create things from scratch and work businesses from scratch. How's that experience been working and having your own business in this market in South Carolina?
It has been, wow. It's been rewarding. There are good days, and then I guess with anyone that owns a business, there are times when you're not making any money. When you're in the red, you still have to pay office rent. You still have to pay your mortgage at home, student loans, everything. So there are ups and downs with everything. So the income is not always consistent.
Gotcha.
And that's where I would tell any entrepreneur to have other things that are going to bring you in
forms of
some
income.
type of revenue. Yeah.
And I like that you said that at the beginning. And we want our audience to hear this because that's part of the reason for this podcast. We want people to know the reality behind it. Not sugarcoat things, make things look cute. Like I said, watching HGTV. That's not how it really is. You probably want to actually watch
also working.
Yeah, you got to watch HGTV and Bloomberg. And then you'll know what it really looked like. Then you'll be like, I don't know if I want to do that no more. But it's good for them to hear it. So that way, before they decide they want to jump into a career, et cetera, they can, all right, I need to have this amount of stuff going on. I need to have some gumption because I might not hit it the first time. I'm going to hit stumbling blocks, but I can get over them. So yeah, and you're a great example of what it looks like to be able to do that. And before we finish up, we gotta do this part. Shameless plugs. I want you to go ahead and tell everybody about your business, where they can find you, how they can get. Oh yeah, you're gonna be looking into that camera. How they can get in contact with you if they need somebody to fight for them for a good loan, if they need somebody to fight for them to make sure they find a house that they can afford, even if they credit score the 580. Tell them where they can get to you.
Okay, so my name is Robin Bryant. The company is HH Real Estate and Mortgage. You can find me on Facebook at Robin Bryant. Instagram, it's HH Real Estate _mortgage. My phone number is 843-303-8803.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Now, we always ask this too, and it's a little different for what you do, but do you have anything coming up that we need to be aware of that may be going on in your life or that people should be paying attention to?
I am building a house that's about to hit the market.
Oh,
Yay.
Hey.
So I'm going to list it in April. We should be finished in April.
This is like your project? You decided to build one from scratch and then sell it? Oh, that's awesome. The next step to flipping a house.
Yeah.
The ground.
Yeah. I heard this too before we finish. I got to ask. We got like 2 minutes. I heard from this guy telling me it's easier to build a house than to rehab or renovate a house.
Correct.
All right, so I'm learning that. Okay, so that's for real.
It's real. Even it may take you longer with permitting and clearing land and all that good stuff, but it's easier to get a loan on building versus buying a rundown home for $100 and expecting that lender to loan you another $100. It's risky. But with new construction, the lender is releasing the money after you complete each phase and after it's inspected.
They're confirming it. There's accountability.
Yeah.
Dang. All right. Because that's what I was thinking about. Because I was like, just get a new build because it makes sense. Wow. Okay. So that wasn't bad information. I may have to listen to this person some more. All right. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap up for the episode. Okay. This is DJ and what?
I'm Mike.
Tamaya.
Skip.
And our esteemed guest. Oh, wait.
Oh.
We have a special person in the background. There we go, Miss Sophia, and our esteemed guest,
Robin Bryant.
I want to thank you so much for joining us today on the Hilltop Glove Podcast. Me. Oh, I forgot to say this earlier, but make sure that you tell somebody next time that you love them, that you appreciate them. always do that, especially in this crazy world. Plus, just give you a heads up, we're in Links Recording Studio.
Shout out to Links Studio.
Shout out.
Beautiful podcast in space.
And it is available for you to go on Peerspace and rent out this space for your own use as well. If you have any production needs, just please go on Peerspace. What's the information?
We'll post it on the video.
It'll be in the video, so make sure you see it.
Check the description.
Yep. Other than that, until the next time, peace.
The Hilltop Glove Podcast.